the GRU's role in Crimea was only the beginning. After the successful annexation of the peninsula in 2014, Russia set its sights on eastern Ukraine, launching a covert military operation disguised as a separatist movement. The world saw local rebels rising against Kiev, but behind the scenes, it was the GRU that orchestrated, armed, and commanded the war in Donbas. This wasn't just a conflict, it was a textbook example of hybrid warfare, where Russian intelligence manipulated events from the shadows while denying any involvement. The GRU's first move was infiltration. Even before open fighting began, GRU officers disguised as civilians, journalists, and aid workers had already entered Donetsk and Luhansk. Their goal was to recruit pro-Russian locals, spread disinformation, and weaken Ukraine's hold on the region. These operatives secretly met with corrupt officials, security forces, and former Soviet military officers to build a separatist movement from the inside. Then came the false flag operations. The GRU staged violent provocations, creating the illusion that Ukrainian forces were attacking Russian-speaking civilians. Russian-controlled media spread fake stories of atrocities, convincing the local population that Kiev was waging war against them. This manufactured crisis provided the perfect pretext for Moscow to justify its intervention. By April 2014, the so-called separatists began taking over government buildings, police stations, and military bases. But these weren't just locals. They were highly trained GRU operatives, and Russian Spetsnaz special forces leading the assaults. One of the most infamous figures, Igor Girkin, Strelkov, a former GRU officer, declared himself the military commander of Donetsk's separatist forces. The illusion of a civil uprising had been set, even though most of the leaders were directly tied to Russian intelligence. The GRU supplied weapons, intelligence, and tactical command. Within weeks, separatist fighters were equipped with modern Russian weaponry, including tanks, heavy artillery, and anti-aircraft missiles that no civilian militia could have obtained on their own. Captured radio transmissions and intercepted calls revealed GRU officers giving direct orders to separatist units. The turning point came on July 17, 2014, when Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 was shot down over Donbas by a Buk missile system supplied by the GRU. The plane, carrying 298 civilians, was mistaken for a Ukrainian military aircraft. The GRU immediately launched a disinformation campaign, blaming Ukraine and flooding social media with dozens of conflicting narratives to create confusion. But satellite images, intercepted communications, and forensic evidence all pointed to Russian involvement. Despite overwhelming proof, Russia denied any connection to the separatists, claiming they were volunteers acting independently. But reports from defected separatist fighters, leaked Russian documents, and NATO intelligence proved otherwise. GRU officers were embedded within the command structure of the separatist forces, dictating strategies and supplying intelligence. The war in Donbas escalated, and by 2015, the GRU played a key role in organizing large-scale battles against Ukrainian forces. The most infamous was the Battle of Debaltseve, where Ukrainian troops were surrounded and pounded by artillery fired from inside Russian territory, a tactic coordinated by GRU reconnaissance teams. Even as the conflict continued, GRU cyber units launched relentless attacks on Ukraine's infrastructure. They hacked government networks, shut down power grids, and disrupted military communications, proving that modern war was no longer fought just with bullets and bombs. It was fought in cyberspace, where information was just as powerful as firepower. By 2022, Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine revealed just how deeply the GRU had been embedded in eastern Ukraine. When Russian forces crossed the border, they already had detailed intelligence on Ukrainian defenses, thanks to years of GRU infiltration. Sleeper agents, planted years earlier, were activated to sabotage Ukrainian resistance, spreading panic and misinformation. The GRU's war in Donbass was a masterclass in modern hybrid warfare, a conflict where deniability, deception, and disinformation were just as deadly as tanks and missiles. What started as a separatist movement was, in reality, a highly organized GRU military operation, proving that Russia could wage war without ever officially declaring one. Even today, the GRU's fingerprints remain all over eastern Ukraine. Their tactics, disguise, infiltrate, destabilize, and deny, have become the blueprint for future conflicts. The war in Donbass wasn't just about territory. It was a warning to the world that wars of the future will be fought in the shadows, where truth itself is the first casualty.